All right, race fans, we're rolling off. It's race number 2. I'm telling you, race fans, on your feet for this start. Race number 1 was fantastic. Me and Brian and Massimo are up here in the broadcast booth. Massimo doesn't even have any fingernails left. He was so nervous. He's like chewing off his fingernails up here. We're all on the edge of our seat. Fantastic race that left Johnny Kaminsky on the top step. We're greeted up for race number 2 with Eric Paterno on the pole, Alex Blaker outside front row, Mike Leo inside second row. And I don't even know. I'm waiting for it. It should be Todd Ratura is outside second row, followed by Johnny Kaminsky on the third row. Massimo, that first race, that caution, that last lap shootout, how exciting was that race? And what do you expect out of this second race?
That was one of the most exciting things I've seen here. You know, obviously I'm usually in the excitement, but coming from the outside, it was super fun to watch. But definitely for this race, after speaking with Johnny after last race, he was surprised. I will tell you, he didn't realize how much he had to work for that win. You know, he thought 100% he was going to break the draft, and every time he looked behind him, he still had the squadron of Mike Leo, Alex Blaker, and Eric Paterno who were sticking with him, and even Todd Ratura. So he's definitely got his work cut out for him for this race, but it's all going to come down to of who's going to work together the best to pull away. Is Alex Blaker going to work with Eric Paterno? Is Mike Leo going to work with those two? Are they going to pull away? Are they going to spend the whole time battling and allow Todd Ratura and Johnny to get some opportunities to come through the field? It's all going to be about if Johnny can capitalize. But Johnny also has to be mindful. Even though they weren't exactly in the race last race, he still has race cars behind him who are going to look for every opportunity, because that is what happens when you're racing. You look for whatever opportunity to try and get ahead of them. So everyone has their work cut out for them. I think this is going to be an even more exciting race than last time.
Also joining me at booth, lead instructor and all-around good guy and father of Frankie the Dotson is Brian Hedian. Brian, what are you looking for out of this race with Paterno on the pole, just like he was in the last race, Blaker and Leo behind him? Do you think Paterno will have a better plan for race 2 to hang on to that top step?
Yeah, surely. I think Paterno didn't have the greatest of starts. I think he put the car where he needed to. He may have missed a shift. We don't know yet. But overall, I think that the strategy is, and what we learned from race 1 is that you have to know how to work with each other. You have to know how to be poised. You have to know when to be aggressive and when to control your aggression. And controlling your emotions is really important, because as we know, in the beginning of the race, everything's going to stack up. Things are going to get a little bit wild. But once everything starts settling in, you can get back into the rhythm of the stuff that you taught by your coach, or all the repetitions. So it's important that everybody kind of keeps a clear head. And I will say they kept it pretty clean, because there's a lot of times where there were instances where I thought that there was going to be some contact. And I'll tell you what, they kept it really clean, and they kept their poise. So I'm really excited for race 2. And again, the suspense is building up.
Speaking of suspense, the car's going up into the switchback for that trademark Monticello moment of suspense. Brought to you by Paul Quealy. And right now, while we're waiting, we have a 10-second sale on gloves. 20% off. Gloves in the pro shop for the next 10 seconds. Ready, go. Now Ricky Doughton leads that super pace car into the into the hairpin as Paterno starts to think about stacking up the field. We are -2 competitors for this race. Melissa Barthelms and Raphael did not make the grid, so we're only an 8-car field. As you see, Blaker, we're back to this traditional. If you've been following the ND2 racing here at Monticello all season, it has been the Blaker and Paterno show, and now we've got another one-row shootout. A first-row shootout between Blaker and Paterno.
It looks like there's a little confusion here on how we're gridding this race. So it looks like, I think potentially Johnny should be in 5th place. I believe he.
Johnny is in 4th, and that's missing up Todd Ratura.
And it looks like we have a little bit of confusion, but again, it's not gonna. Once we get that race started, we'll see if all that kind of gets ignored.
Yeah, Johnny has. It looks like he's misgridding himself here. I don't know if this is going to result in a failed start or not, but Ricky Doughton's got the lights off on the pace car. We're approaching the bridge. Johnny looks, this is not exactly the way the start should be. Johnny should be up there. He's dragging a little brake, getting a little heat in the tires, waiting for Morgan to give us the green. We'll see what the steward says. There's the green, and Morgan, look at Todd Ratura dive to the inside and get a good jump on Mike Leo as he's sandwiched between Johnny Kaminsky. Todd Ratura looking very racy, moving up to third. Excellent move by Todd Ratura. He got the run off of Montreal and picks up 2 spaces in the first turn.
That was very well managed by Todd Ratura. It always gets a little bit dicey being the outside car as you wind up pinching the middle car. A little bit of contact, but managed it well. Johnny and Todd Ratura walk away from that unscathed. Mike Leo loses a few places, but looks like he will remain racy through the rest of this session. Now, I got to say, after speaking to all the drivers after the first race, I loved the mentality that they have. It wasn't how can I go faster, it's how can I be more strategic, how can I be smarter with where I place my car, and how can I be smarter when playing with others. You know, it was a lot of who can I work with, where do I put myself, when do I make an overtake, and I like that kind of mentality coming from these drivers who are trying to be as smart as they can.
Speaking of smart, it looks like Mike Leo is about to get connected with Brian, which is going to, in theory, get them ahead. But let's see if they can actually clear Alex Blaker here. Looks like Leo's connected. Todd Ratura checks up behind and follows single file. That is a very high IQ move. Todd Ratura knows exactly what he's doing in this moment. So it looks like we're going too wide into switchback, but as we all know, that doesn't always work out. So it's a bold move.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Stay tuned for that trademark Monticello moment of suspense as the cars come out of the switchback, headed up to Kryptos, and it's still Paterno holding court in P1. Little dirt there. Look at that. Johnny Kaminsky getting the move. Oh, man, we've got a race here. Ratura drops a spot. Oh, man, this...
Ratura's the kind of guy that wants to put you too wide through Kryptos and is unforgiving about it because the space is there. I love to see it. I love the aggression. Everybody got out of there unscathed. It looks like Brian takes a peek, but it looks like he's just kind of filling up his mirrors and using that high IQ to make a move here.
I'll tell you, Johnny has got the car here, though. Johnny's showing the nose all over Alex Blaker here, and Blaker under pressure from the junior Kaminsky as he goes into the South Straight. Eric Paterno up front, but Blaker under pressure.
Johnny is definitely being as smart as he can. He's playing to his advantage in that he got around Mike Leo, he got around Todd Ratura, and he's placed himself right where he wants to be, right behind Alex Blaker, right behind Eric Paterno, because he knows that he can get into their heads and he knows that he's faster, and all he has to do is just force a mistake. And now Mike Leo is going to be smart, and he's going to use Johnny Kaminsky almost as a battering ram, just to push right past these two, because both of them have the pace to get up to the front of this field. So let's see what Johnny can do behind Alex Blaker here as he still fills his mirrors, trying to get in his head, trying to force him into an error. He's going to have to play a little bit of the waiting game as we go through this, the South Course into the carousel. But let's see what kind of run he gets down the back straight. As Todd Ratura looking to hang on as everyone kind of falls into position behind the top 4.
Yeah, honestly, Brian and I were just talking about here in the booth. Johnny doesn't really need to pass Blaker at this point right now. These guys are running along with a 25-minute mentality. Leo and Kaminsky know what they've got. Blaker and Paterno know what they need to do. And look at this run onto the back straight. This is going to be something. Leo up in Kaminsky. As Massimo just said, you can bet Leo is going to try to push Kaminsky right through to the front and follow him all the way.
And this is why we love MX5 Cup, because of this exact moment right here, because they're so well in the draft and it's so easy to have a good battle here. So it looks like, again, we got Alex Blaker potentially going on the outside, but tucks back in, too wide for Kaminsky, and let's see exactly how this falls off.
Into that trademark moment of suspense, Monticello brought to you by the Pro Shop and also Kart Camp. As they come out of the switchback, we're going to see who's on the pole. It's still Eric Paterno out front, followed by Blaker, and also then Johnny Kaminsky and Mike Leo. These cars are so close you could throw a blanket over them, and they're going to stay like that for, I bet, quite a minute. We've got 20 minutes left. 5 minutes into the race, 20 minutes left to go. Eric Paterno sitting on the purple lap, but can he hang on for 20 more minutes? As you see from that drone shot passing that world-class karting facility, the cars go through old turn number 1. Paterno still leading them down into the S's. Kaminsky tucked right up behind Blaker, and Todd Ratura and Mike Leo right there looking to close the gap as well as we turn onto the South Straight. What do these guys need to do, Massimo, to get Paterno fully reeled in and not just catch him, but pass him?
I think for now, just staying in the window is going to be key. Just kind of, it's all about putting your head down. As Brian likes to say, just put your head down, knock the laps through, stay consistent. You want to wait for someone to make a mistake. And if, whether that'll be, because I did talk to Paterno, he did miss that upshift, and that's what cost him 4th place. So you want to wait for an opportunity like that to make a move. But I gotta say, my smile can't be wiped from my face right now. I am having so much fun watching this. It's like opening presents on Christmas Day. You don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know who is gonna come out in front.
And pretty impressive for Eric Paterno here. He is not in a draft, and he currently has the fastest lap of the race. He has the fastest lap of the race, and he's ahead. So if I'm Eric Paterno, I just keep doing what you got to do. Focus on hitting your marks, and honestly, you don't have to really race if you could just check away. If you could just check out, then you're just kind of focusing on your own line and what you're doing. It's going to be interesting here because obviously tire wear and tire deg is going to come into play at the end of the race. It could be a safety car. So again, for all those drivers in 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th, there's still a shot at it. You just have to keep your head down, focus on putting your laps in, and see how this unfolds.
Yeah, this back stretch is where the magic happens. They come off that right-hand turn there onto the hanger straight, and this is where the magic happens. Kaminsky right up in, pushing Blaker. As Blaker goes to the outside, we're going to see something here. Look at this new drone angle we've got. We're going to see this braking zone unfold. Paterno has the best angle, and Kaminsky slices through and boxes Blaker out, and Kaminsky picks up the position. That, my friends, is excellent racecraft out of Kaminsky.
So from my sound engineer, we're calling that area the mystery zone. So this is not what we've given. This is the name we have given that corner. It is the mystery zone because you don't know what's going to happen in the middle and on the way out. But I will say it's some dicey racing up here, and Todd's got to put his head down. Looks like you got Owen Barthelms and Ivan Braley in their own battle. Mark Davies in the back there, just trying to get used to the car, getting acclimated with a car that he has not really driven in a long time. So again, it's just a matter of getting acclimated as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, it's in real time, so it's always good to get out here, get a little bit of practice. But speaking of practice, it looks like Eric Paterno did his work in practice because he's looking pretty good here. He's got a pretty good gap, and it looks like as long as he hits his marks, he's going to be in good shape.
I got to tell you, though, Brian, I still think the smart money is on Johnny. I mean, you see this kid. He's running with a 25-minute mentality. Johnny puts 2 wheels big. He hangs on to it, but that really compromised his exit speed, and now he's under attack from Alex Blaker. Really, as I'm giving the commentator's curse, I'm giving Johnny all the praise, and I swear he puts 2 wheels off and almost loses the position to Blaker. But I still think Kaminsky's got the head, he's got the poise, and he's got the patience to work Paterno down. But right now, Paterno is just gapping the field because of that mistake by Kaminsky. It's really let Paterno open up a gap here with 16 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, no, it looks like at this point that if I'm Alex Blaker and if I'm Mike Leo, I would work with Johnny and try to get back to Eric Paterno because I'd rather race for first place than battle it off for second, third, or fourth. So I think it's important right now for Alex Blaker and Mike Leo to kind of work with one another so this way they can catch up to the pack.
Yeah, and then through carousel, Blaker just had a bit of a moment there, which allowed Mike Leo to close that gap and open that gap, give Johnny some breathing room. But you can tell that Johnny is definitely feeling how hard he has to work for these overtakes. This is not varsity racing anymore, where you can just check out. So, but it was a great overtake down to the back stretch. Pretty textbook, just staying behind because once you get on the outside going into switchback, it is always super hard to hold that position because that outside line quickly turns into the inside. And you lose out. But for sure, it'll be interesting to see how Johnny, if Johnny can keep his head down, try and reel in Paterno, and then the last 10 minutes of this race will be very, very exciting.
into the trademark mystery zone. You should not lose the sight of the fact, race fans, that Eric Paterno continues to turn purple laps. He's turning the fastest laps on the track while not getting any benefit from a tow or aerodynamic effects on the backstretch. That is really difficult, which means Paterno has the pace to stay out front. Kaminsky is going to have to put in all the effort to get around him, but hey, Kaminsky is the kid to do it if anybody can. Kaminsky just painting the bumper there. Paterno needs to remain poised under this pressure from Kaminsky.
I think having Kaminsky here and in this race, one, it's exciting because you get to see somebody that's such a bright future in racing and in motorsports. But more importantly, for Eric Paterno and the rest of the drivers, it really comes down to it just shows to where level they're at. And as you can see right now, Johnny Kaminsky filling up his mirrors and Eric Paterno just staying poised and really sticking it. He's doing a really good job there.
Yeah, I tell you, we've got a race here with 14 minutes to go. We've got a fantastic race shaping up. Paterno's going to have to stay poised because that Kaminsky kid is pretty good at this automobile racing thing. 14 minutes to go, and it's anybody's race. Eric Paterno on front at P1, Johnny Kaminsky in second, Blaker in third, Mike Leo in fourth, Todd Ratur in fifth, Owen Barthelms in sixth, Ivan Brightly in seventh, and Mark Davies of Ferrari Challenge fame running back there in eighth. Now watch Kaminsky follow Paterno through the carousel, and then there's Blaker and Leo. Leo has dropped off the pace a little bit, which is going to kind of hurt Blaker, I think. What is it going to take for Ratturo and Leo to get back in this thing?
I think that Ratturo and Leo just kind of have to put their heads back down, keep, grind those laps, pump those laps out. But definitely would help if Ratturo can catch up to Leo, give him a bit of a draft. But I don't know if that would take for Ratturo to go faster, or if Mike just drops all the way back down to Ratturo. I think they're going to kind of drop out of this race. But Johnny did turn the purple lap last lap, and now he's got one hell of a run coming down into switchback. Johnny is reeling in Paterno. It's only a matter of time at this point until, watch as he sets up Paterno. And now he's going to go inside. Oh, no, he doesn't get it. Good defense from Paterno, keeping a level head. But, Johnny's definitely, it's just a matter of time until Johnny can get this move pulled off.
There it is in the mystery zone. He made it work, but now we're going too wide going into cryptos. And as you know, this is a bold move. And we got too wide through cryptos. Paterno on the inside has a track position, but let's see if he can get him on the braking. At this point, Alex Blaker, his eyes are wide open because he knows he's going to get a good exit here. We got Johnny Kaminsky just behind Paterno, and Paterno with the position and has a better exit. But I will say that mystery zone, man, that is a special spot in the track.
They don't call it the mystery zone for nothing. Anything can happen when you head from the braking zone through switchback. Kaminsky still in second, but he is giving us the racing excitement. This is why they pay the big money for the tickets. The clubhouse fans are on their feet. It is standing room only. The crowd is cheering. Johnny's merchandise trailer is just crushing it right now. The Johnny Kaminsky muscle shirt is flying off the shelf. And now we watch Paterno lead him under the bridge with only 11 minutes to go in this race.
So I love that we have Massimo here, because tell me, Massimo, you know the feeling when it's coming down to the wire and you've got that car, Johnny Kaminsky, behind you. That is not a comfortable feeling.
I mean, look at it now. He's inside. It is not comfortable. It's frightening. Yeah, it's trouble. Here we go. So let's see if Paterno can hang it around the outside. No, he cannot. That is the end, I think, of Paterno's story, unless he gets a run down the back straight. But I think that's all she wrote for Paterno in this race. There's not much more you can do.
Take it from a guy who has raced head-to-head with Kaminsky. Massimo just pronounced it the end of the race. He's like, that's a wrap for Paterno. Oh, man, listen, it's not over yet. 11 minutes to go. You can bet Paterno is going to keep fighting. If Blaker can get up there and give him a push, these two guys, these two senior drivers, are going to be able to give that junior Kaminsky a run for his money. Let's see if these guys can put something together and challenge that neon and black ND2 down the straightaway.
Now, the best thing for Paterno to do is to stay behind Johnny, because it is, even though Johnny is able to keep a level head, even though it's easy to keep a level head, you got to force him into an error. And by filling up his mirrors, it's easy to get into a driver's head because, you got a lot to think about at once. And now you look in the mirror and now Paterno's back in my mirrors. And then you can miss your braking zone. You can miss a marker. You can miss your throttle application. You can miss, your turn in. So you got to just stay on it. You got to keep your level head. You can't when he overtakes you, you can't let it bother you. You got to just stay with it. And Paterno is doing a very good job of staying with him. So maybe his story's got a little bit more. Maybe the ink and quill hasn't been put out yet.
Did you just say ink and quill? Wow. Massimo with the Ben Franklin reference, referencing the founding fathers. He's writing over here with a turkey feather or something. But Paterno is maintaining contact with Johnny, which is, listen, the first step to passing Johnny is just staying with him, right? You got to be in position. If Johnny makes a mistake, we've seen Johnny put 2 wheels off on the outside of the last corner before the South Straight. It is possible. The kid is not just a driving robot. He could make a mistake, and Paterno needs to maintain the pressure. Blaker coming up a little bit closer now. That 1-2 punch of Paterno and Blaker might have just enough horsepower and tow to give Johnny something to think about on the long straights here. We're going to find out with about 9 minutes to go in the race. Paterno showing him the nose on the inside, but Johnny covers him off and leads him through Montreal.
I think this actually is exactly what Blaker wants. I think that he needs Eric Paterno to pressure Johnny. He needs him to get him off his line, because if both of these drivers start driving away, I will say just based off of lap time, it's going to be very difficult. And speaking of lap time, the best lap of the race just came in from Mike Leo without a draft. Mike Leo with a 2:37.7, bringing him back. And again, I was talking about Blaker, but at the same time, Mike Leo, if he can just keep his stuff together, put in those laps, and continue to put purple seconds in, it might be an exciting race.
Hey, listen, one thing you can say about Mike Leo, he is not going to quit. That kid is going to keep grinding for the full 25 minutes. He never lets up. He never hangs his head. He just puts his head down and turns purple laps without the tow. What a great job by Mike Leo.
Now, I got to say, as we were referencing with Blaker, I've been in his position before with Johnny and with his older brother Brian, where they are battling it out. They have been, where they were neck and neck, and then they've either pushed each other off or they've both made a mistake, and that was easy for me to capitalize on that. So if Blaker can capitalize on maybe Paterno putting pressure on Johnny, but it looks like Johnny opened up that gap as much as he could on the back straight. And now we go into our trademark mystery zone. We'll see how much distance Johnny has between Paterno and Blaker, but spoiler, I bet you it's going to be a lot, because he is mighty through the switchback. No, my God, it's not. See,
Anything can happen in the mystery zone. As Eric Paterno closes up, you don't even know what's happening in the mystery zone. It just happens, and then you get to see it here live. Paterno gets a nose inside of Johnny, and all of a sudden, we have got a race. Johnny under extreme pressure as Swifty Swiss shows him the nose on the outside, is going to dive to the inside to try to put pressure through old turn number 1. The track falls away there, big off-camber turn, and Paterno's got the line here to cause some havoc for Johnny as we head into the S's.
Yeah, great job from both those drivers behind. They really kept their heads down and really put in some good laps. As you can see here, looks like Paterno's in a great position, but more importantly, Alex Blaker is also in a very good position, because like we saw earlier, if P1 and P2 start battling too much, you'll see Alex Blaker sneak his way in, as he's done all season.
Also, just shout out to the Monticello media crew for these fantastic images. Dom and Chris Chavala and Ray Benora just really putting in the work and getting it done for our club members. If you're sitting at home watching this in 4K on YouTube, you need to send a shout out to Chris and Dom and Ray, because they are doing work here in the production booth. These fantastic images are what provide us with the great racing. Just framing up the American flag there. Nothing but hashtag America as Johnny leads them through the carousel. Paterno and Blake are trying to gather up an assault to mount a challenge to that young Kaminsky kid on the front row. Massimo, we've got 5 minutes left, about maybe 3 laps, maybe only 2 laps left in this race. Are they going to be able to get it done, or is it the 22 car bringing it home?
If I am Alex Blaker, I am hoping that Eric Paterno starts ripping parts out of his car to get lighter, to try and get some speed so that he can get up to Johnny. But now it looks like he's going to try and mount an attack on Eric Paterno, or maybe they're going to start drafting and maybe they're going to push each other to try and get back up to Johnny, because Blaker needs at one of them. They need each other to start mounting an attack on Johnny. Putting pressure on Johnny is their key to try and take this win back. Johnny goes defensive. Paterno deep on the brakes, can't get it done, but they are still in a good position. No one was too wide there. They both can kind of, fall back in line and figure it out. Now the trademark mystery zone. Who knows? Maybe Leo will have flown by them. We won't know. We see the flashes of them through the trees. Paterno's now got a run coming through Cryptos. He's getting closer. Not close enough, but he might have another run up this North Straight as Johnny goes a little bit defensive, compromising his line a bit out of this hairpin corner. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Blaker put in the work on that last straightaway to really push Paterno into a better position. Really great 1-2 punch there out of Paterno and Blaker. And they're going to have a good position here. And there is time left in this race for something to happen. These two guys are putting together a plan, but Johnny's got his own plan, and he is very poised and very professional. His racecraft is peerless. So it's going to take something special out of the Swifty Swiss to get around that black Kaminsky car.
And also a little bit further back, big kudos to Ivan Brightly. He's been putting in some pretty good laps, getting himself a little bit more in the mix with a 2-minute 40. Super happy to see that. But up front here, it looks like Paterno putting it too wide going through Montreal. And Johnny Kaminsky's there, and I don't know if there's any contact. Looks like there's a little bit of contact, and Blaker takes the inside. And Leo with a run there. It looks like there might be some damage. It looks like there's a little bit of tire smoke, but it's hard to see. I don't know if there was a mistake, but Alex Blaker takes the lead of the race. He is now the leader of the race with Mike Leo breathing down all three of their neck. This is absolutely incredible. I'd love to see the replay of that.
Telling you, they took it down in Montreal, and Paterno just got extra racy, deep on the brakes, and got up inside of the door there of Kaminsky, and it was a lot of beating and banging as Kaminsky rooted him out, but the process let Blaker sneak through. As we've been saying in the booth, Blaker in position to take advantage of any bobble out of Paterno and Kaminsky.
And big shout out to Mike Leo. He's turning it up. He still has that purple lap. He's about 2/10 faster, 1 to 2/10 faster of the four of them. Now, can Johnny make this run work? It looks like he's got that inside early, which is key for this back straight. And now all he needs is Mike Leo, who's going to poke through. There goes Paterno around the outside. And Mike Leo going around the outside, trying to use Paterno to punch a hole. But now Blaker has that that more advantageous position going into the brakes. Contact as we go into the braking zone. Paterno going deep, Johnny outbrakes, rolls that speed, reclaims that first place, and now contact between Blaker and Mike Leo as we go over those switchback curbing. They're still with each other, but now...
Listen, also, if you didn't know, the mystery zone is a mystery no more. Thanks to Chris Chapala, the drone putting in work. We have got every single inch of this track. The drone is doing the job here. But I tell you, Blaker goes from the lead back to fourth. And Blaker with a big bobble oversteer slide. He gathers it up, but that is not going to help his exit speed as Blaker continues to fall further behind.
Yeah, it looks like Blaker may have put a fender on Mike Leo there. So it's important right now for the two drivers behind. You can't get too caught up in your own little race. If you want to try to get to the front, it's important that you get to Paterno right away, because if I'm Johnny Kaminsky, I am trying my best to get away from this pack. And it looks like we're pretty much all evenly spread out here. It really comes down to who gets a better exit and who can capitalize here. White flag this time by, so it's going to be the last lap. Mike Leo putting 2 off in the dirt, but stays in it and keeps it on the track.
Our capable flagman Morgan up in the starter stand, showing the 1 to go. White flag in hand, 1 to go. This race is going to be over in about 2.5 minutes. And I'll tell you, for all the positioning and all the rooting and the banging, at the end of the day, it's still Johnny Kaminsky out front. Massimo, as you said about 11 minutes ago, it is going to be tough to dislodge Johnny from that top step.
It's very cool to watch someone who is so composed. You see him come into contact, fall behind, and it's like trying to slap a statue. You can't change their face. You can't knock him. You just can't stop him. He will keep putting down the same lap. He could be on fire putting down the same laps. You know, it's really, really cool to watch someone who has this kind of composure. And it was really cool to see how it went from how the top 4 got jumbled completely out of mix, and then were the exact same as we started 2 laps ago. It's just very cool.
Also, race fans, if you're at home watching this race, don't lose sight of the fact that Massimo Risi, inside this one race, has mentioned quill and ink, and then he just said it's like trying to slap a statue. Massimo Risi just throwing down golden lines. You don't get this kind of commentary from any other club racing commentary. This is the Monticello Motor Club, the world's premier automotive country club. We've got 1 lap to go as Johnny leads them up to Kryptos. Paterno in second, Leo in third, and Blaker in fourth. We've got Todd Ratura in fifth, Owen Barthelms in sixth, Ivan Brightly and Mark Davies rounding out 7 and 8. As they head up the North Straight and around Old Turn 1, they've only got about 3 turns left to kick the kid off the top step, his ancestral home. He has the high downforce hair. You know him. You love him. It's Johnny Kaminsky coming off the bench for his first ND2 race of the year and shining in race 1 and race 2 as he comes around and heads into the S's looking for the checkers this time by. Mike Leo, however, not satisfied with third, showing Paterno the nose and feeling racy, but Leo doesn't get the position he wants on the curb. That's going to cost him, and this race is going to wrap as Johnny leads them under the bridge as Morgan's got the checker flag in hand. Johnny with the defensive line, and he's across the line in first. Eric Paterno in second, Mike Leo in third, and Alex Blaker crossing the line in fourth. What a race, fellas.
What an effort from the top 4 drivers. That was really awesome, and I like how Johnny, maybe it wasn't intentional, but dips a wheel in the grass, throws a little bit of dirt, shows everyone what's up. Just coming in. His first session today was qualifying, and he absolutely owned it. Good race from everyone.
Guys, this is a race. We appreciate you watching. We can't wait to see you out at your club, the Monticello Motor Club. Members, come on out. We've got more racing excitement. The weather is fantastic. Look at that drone shot. Where would you rather be than on the track in the Catskills at Monticello Motor Club? Can't wait to see you here. Come on out. We'll see you soon.